Good afternoon and welcome to Baina Midday News, coming to you live from our news hub at Atomic Junction, Benab House, Accra. My name is Fauzi Abdullah. Coming up in this afternoon's bulletin. Announced that Ghana is on course to exit funding support from the Global Vaccine Alliance by the year 2030. And in business, IMF is expected to present Ghana's sixth and final program review to its executive board on July 27th. And on the international front, Ebola outbreak has killed at least 88 people in the Democratic Republic of Congo. These and many more stories coming up in the next few minutes. Stay with us. You're welcome back. You're watching Baina Midday News and streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube at Baina TV. Now to our very first story. President John Dramani Mahama has announced that Ghana is on course to exit funding support from the Global Vaccine Alliance by the year 2030. Speaking at the 79th World Health Assembly in Geneva on Monday, May 18th, President Mahama disclosed that Ghana's progress in strengthening its healthcare system and vaccine financing capacity has positioned the country to gradually transition from being a beneficiary of international vaccine support to potentially becoming a contributor in the future.
The call was made in a statement copied to the Ghana News Agency after Monday's torrential rains, which killed at least 12 people, displaced thousands, submerged homes, and cut off major roads in parts of Accra and other affected communities. The council said recurring flooding continued to be driven by poor sanitation, clogged drainage systems, unauthorized development on waterways and wetlands, and weak enforcement of planning and building regulations. It said flood prevention should take precedence over disaster response. The council recommended that the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, be involved in planning major infrastructure and developmental projects through disaster risk assessments before implementation, particularly in flood-prone and other hazard-prone areas. It expressed sympathy to those affected by the floods, particularly residents of the Greater Accra region and other vulnerable communities. The council commended the government, NADMO, the Ghana Armed Forces, the Ghana National Fire Service, the Ghana Police Service, health workers, volunteers, and other first responders for their rescue and relief efforts. It said NADMO had recently outlined measures to strengthen disaster preparedness and response, including reviving its volunteer network with an updated database of citizens willing to assist during emergencies. The council said that NADMO's nationwide presence at the national, regional, and district levels would enhance monitoring and improve emergency response.
Moving on, former National Food and Buffer Stock Company Chief Executive Officer Hanan Abdul Wahab and his wife Faiza Saidu Wuni are facing fresh criminal charges following new legal action initiated by the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice over alleged financial misconduct involving millions of Ghana cedis. According to court documents filed at the High Court in Accra on May 15, 2026, the couple has been charged with a total of 20 counts relating to alleged financial impropriety during Mr. Abdul Wahab's tenure as head of the State Food Management Agency. Moving on further, more than 22,000 people and over 2,000 households have been affected by the devastating floods that inundated Adabraka and surrounding communities during the heavy rains on Monday, June 29, 2026. According to the Assembly member of the Odona Sahara Electoral Area, Hendrik Noble Kina, speaking in an interview during an assessment of the flood-affected areas, Kina described the scale of destruction as unprecedented, saying hundreds of residents had to be rescued while homes, businesses and markets suffered extensive damage.
The call was made in a statement copied to the Ghana News Agency after Monday's torrential rains, which killed at least 12 people.
Kina said preliminary assessment shows that more than 2,000 households across Odona, Asylum Down, Official Town, and parts of Osu have been affected. He noted that the figures remain provisional because some victims have yet to be captured in the ongoing registration exercise. Kina disclosed that authorities have begun removing flood-damaged goods from the market to prevent spoiled products from being repackaged and resold to the public. He explained that persistent rainfall has slowed cleanup efforts despite recent dredging work carried out in the area. According to him, the floods have dealt a severe blow to livelihoods, particularly traders operating at the Odona market, where large quantities of goods were destroyed. Kina added that the market consists of more than 4,000 shops and stores, many of which have sustained extensive damage, reflecting on the recurring flooding in the area. He said the latest disaster was even worse than previous incidents. He said emergency responses remain engaged in rescue, relief, and cleanup operations while authorities continue to assess the full extent of the damage to homes, businesses, and public infrastructure.
Away from that, the Ghana Education Service has dismissed a false viral social media statement claiming that flood waters swept away West African Senior High School certificate examination papers that affected candidates would be required to rewrite the examination. The purported statement, which has been widely shared across social media platforms, alleged that heavy rains on June 29th caused examination papers to be washed away, rendering some of them unavailable for the ongoing examination. It further claimed that GES was considering rewriting the affected papers and would communicate a revised examination timetable and further details in due course. However, GES has described the circulating statement as fake and urged the public to disregard it. The service has also on the public The service also called on the public to verify information before sharing it, urging students, parents and other stakeholders to rely only on official JES communication channels for updates. Moving on further in today's bulletin, the Ministry of Communication, Digital Technology and Innovations has directed the management of Ghana Digital Centres Limited to immediately reverse its decision to temporarily suspend the employment contracts of all staff following flood damage to the company's Accra facility. In a statement issued on Tuesday, July 1st, the ministry said it has taken a very strong view of the directive contained in a circular issued by GDCL, which announced that the suspension of all employment contracts effective July 1st pending a comprehensive assessment of the situation.
The directive comes after GDCL announced the temporary suspension of staff contracts, citing extensive damage caused by the June 29 floods, which disrupted operations at the technology hub and affected businesses operating from the facility. The ministry said it stood in solidarity with staff affected by the floods. The ministry also disclosed that the management of the Ghana Digital Centres Limited had been invited to a meeting on Wednesday, July 2, to discuss the matter. The meeting follows a visit by the Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, Samuel Nate George, to the center on June 30 to assess the extent of damage caused by the floods to the facility and businesses operating within the complex. Earlier, the Deputy Chief Executive of the Ghana Digital Centres Limited, Christine Adjoa Ejapoma Anson, defended the temporary suspension of employment contracts, insisting it did not amount to dismissals. She explained that the decision was necessitated by the extensive flood damage which rendered parts of the facility unsafe and disrupted the centre's ability to generate revenue. According to her, management intends to recall staff once restoration works are completed and normal operations resume.
You're still watching Baina Midday News. We'll go for a quick break, after which we'll bring you business and more this day.
الله أكبر الله أكبر.
The word Islam is an Arabic word which means to surrender. As a Muslim, you surrender yourself to the Almighty Allah, your Creator. To do that, we need to understand the concept of Islam. Baina TV comes your way with the most educative and informative Islamic program, Understanding Islam. On this show, we answer all the questions regarding Islam, the do's and the don'ts of the Sharia, and many others. Make a date with me, Aisha Muhammad Saqib, this and every Friday at 10:30 a.m. as we educate ourselves with the knowledge of the deen.
Baina ina masu ciniki me kake sayarwa, abincin ci ne ko kuwa rigan sawa ne? Kasuwan Baina is here to take your business to the next level and then give your business the spotlight it needs. It doesn't matter where you are. Call us, Kasuwan Baina will come. So take this number 053-948-7745 857. Let's take your business to the next level. Kasuwan Baina. Let's go together.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ejide for Etimujina Salama. I led the Bible and Quran Fake Organization. Edi Beina TV and I yet at the Sina, a Kanipa Kuma, at the Swansua, a Brazilian Tiaseso. A scientist me a Bible and a Quran, a girl that would be that TV. Yadati, let me sum yamre, the Yesia Kumwa, in our Bible and Quran. Na enteratira no ya tudi nse osom enteratira e wo be na ti na ebe ye foso na ye be ta ko ma tu wa ka ko ka bi ku fu e du fa mero na ya ku mo ni si ku mo na me no ye fa sa di su ye fa mo ye som enteratira ye fa bi
this and every Saturday at 8 p.m. only on Baina TV.
You're welcome back and thanks for staying. If you just tuned in, you're watching Baina Midday News and streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube at Baina TV. Now let's delve into the world of business, and tax analyst Francis Timoboy has urged businesses and individual taxpayers to take full advantage of the Ghana Revenue Authority extension of the tax filing deadline to July 6, 2026. Warning that failure to file within the revised period could result in avoidable penalties. The GRA announced the extension after heavy rains triggered widespread flooding across Accra and surrounding communities, disrupting business operations and limiting taxpayers' ability to meet the original June 30 filing deadline.
The revised deadline applies to the second quarter corporate income tax, personal income tax, as well as May 2026 return for value-added tax (VAT), the National Health Insurance Levy, and the Communications Service Tax. Commenting on the decision, Francis Timoboy described the extension as a timely and pragmatic intervention that acknowledges the operational challenges many businesses faced following the floods. According to him, effective tax administration should balance revenue mobilization with responsiveness to prevailing economic conditions. While welcoming the relief, Mr. Francis cautioned taxpayers against delaying further, noting that the extension provides a limited opportunity to regularize their tax obligations without attracting sanctions. The GRA had indicated that taxpayers who submit their returns by Monday, July 6th will not incur late filing penalties for the affected tax period. However, the authority says the normal penalty regime will apply after the revised deadline expires. As part of efforts to minimize disruptions, the Ghana Revenue Authority is encouraging taxpayers to use its digital filing platforms, including the Taxpayers Portal, to submit returns without the need to visit tax offices. The authority also advised businesses experiencing operational difficulties due to floods to contact their nearest taxpayer service center or tax office for assistance. According to GRA, the deadline extension is intended to provide temporary relief to affected businesses and individuals while ensuring continuity in tax administration and protecting domestic revenue mobilization.
Now moving on to some news beyond our borders, a fire has swept through a hospital in the northeastern German town of Ludwigslust, killing 2 patients and injuring 34 others. local authorities and German media reported. The blaze broke out early on Thursday at the Helen von Bülow Klinikum, a local facility in the Ludwigslust-Parchim district. According to reports from the German public broadcaster NDR, the fire originated in a patient's room before rapidly spreading to the roof trusses directly above the hospital's radiology department.
A spokesperson for the district administration confirmed to the regional newspaper, North Korea, that the two individuals who died were patients at the clinic. Emergency medical services reported that 34 others suffered minor injuries, primarily from smoke inhalation, and none are believed to be in life-threatening condition. The DPA news agency reported that emergency workers evacuated 82 patients from the building as dense smoke blew through the complex. Images published by local media showed patients in hospitals' gowns being wheeled out on beds and wheelchairs onto lawns and pavements surrounding the facility as firefighters battled the flames. More than 100 emergency personnel were deployed to the scene. Local police stated that the fire has since been brought under control. The hospital's emergency room was temporarily closed but has since reopened. Hospital management intend to resume operation in the unaffected wings of the facility once safety checks are completed. The facility is the town's only hospital. The Rostock Police Headquarters has launched an investigation into the incident, noting that the precise cause of the initial room fire remains undetermined. Ludwigslust is positioned in the northeastern state of Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, about 40 kilometers, which is 25 miles south of the capital city of Schwerin.
And in the world of sports, the World Cup has suffered a significant increase in the most serious examples